What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the No Name Podcast. It is your boy Young Rich back at it again with another episode. And today we will continue to get into our NFL talk. The offseason, the salary cap has just increased, so that will be a big point of topic of discussion for today. And then again, thank you again for all the support that I've been getting from here so far. It's been great to hear and talk to people to how to improve my videos. And obviously, I know my content is not perfect. It is not 100% where I am trying to be, but again, I am trying to improve my podcast, my talents every single day, and I'm listening to a lot of other people, the Colin Cowherds of the world, the people who do solo podcasts, and things of these natures, and try to, find ways to make myself the most effective and the best to listen to and the most enjoyable to listen to. So it's all a work in progress. But again, I just want to appreciate everyone's been showing support and has joined me along my journey so far. With that being said, let's get straight into the first topic of discussion. I mean, listen, Dak Prescott is rumored to be making around $60 million a year in this next upcoming extension. It will be his last major payday from what I'm hearing. But again, I mean, listen, this $60 million a year for someone like Dak Prescott is absolutely insane to hear. I mean, if you really think about it, I mean, just getting after being the number 2 seed in the NFC and going out like you did against Green Bay in the second round. I mean, listen, to me, it's unacceptable. I understand it is just, he is getting the opportunity to be the best quarterback in free agency at this current moment. He is setting the market again, right? It was just said last year with Jalen Hurts, the Joe Burrow, the Lamar Jacksons. They set the market going forward. The Justin Herberts, they set the market for Dak Prescott. And now, with the increase in salary cap, right, you have a little bit more wiggle room, right? You have a guy who, he was in the MVP discussion for majority of the year. He played phenomenal this year. We understand that this possibly was his best regular season he's had in his career, right? So, I mean, it's hopes for the Dallas Cowboys fans. But again, I mean, it was just the right time for him to go out here and demand this type of money, and it's exactly what he did, resetting the quarterback market at $60 million a year, the highest paid QB in NFL history, which, again, I mean, listen, it's not crazy to think about because there was one point when Jimmy Garoppolo was the highest paid quarterback in the NFL, right? So I understand it is just inflation and need and salary cap increasing and things like that. So again, this guy will get an absolute bag this offseason, but I mean, it will make them a little bit tight on the wiggle room with their extra cap, even if they do get this extra, salary cap added to their salary cap total, right? Because listen, $60 million a year is no joke. You're definitely going to have to restructure some contracts. CeeDee Lamb is going to need an extension. He's playing like a top 5 receiver this year, top 3, wherever you really want to put it. But again, he's going to need top 5, top 3 money. And it's going to be, obviously, from the numbers that I've looked around, is $12.5 million a year. Again, I don't think that's too accurate from some of the sources because, I mean, Devontae Adams, we know, was making $20 million a year. Justin Jefferson was trying to be that exact same guy, but better. Jamar Chase is also trying to be breaking that barrier. So it's definitely interesting where we will see him land. And I also heard Brandon Ayuk's numbers somewhere around $14.5 million, $15 million a year. So again, it is going to be interesting to see how he gets paid, what CeeDee Lamb will get paid this upcoming offseason. But then you also have to take account Micah Parsons wants to be a generational talent on defense. So, you look 1 year into the future, next year, and then you're extending Micah Parsons for generational Nick Bosa greater type money. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely going to be interesting going forward because you can definitely put yourself in a tight position with all the cap space you're about to take up with those 3 players. And so you're going to have to, make some moves. I've heard a couple people, I've read a couple reports where you could take out the likes of, Michael Gallup, restructure a couple contracts like in the Trevon Diggs, right? You could make some cap room, just give yourself a little bit more flexibility, a little bit more wiggle room, right? Tony Pollard, again, he's a guy that is up for extension this year. What's going to happen with him, we are not sure. Whether they're going to sign a big-time running back like the Derrick Henry, the Saquon Barkley, we will definitely see how that goes going forward. But again, I mean, Dak Prescott is getting an absolute bag. And obviously, Is Dak Prescott worth $60 million? I guess, right? If you really look at the aspects of, again, the price of a quarterback, how good he's played, right? And what he's done. Do you have faith? Like really, and it sucks because Dak Prescott has the higher hand, because when you look at this situation, you ask yourself, is Dak Prescott worth $60 million? Is Dak Prescott a Super Bowl caliber QB? Can he get you to the Super Bowl? Can he get you to the NFC Championship game, right? And you sit here and you ask yourself that question, and you are not sure. I'm not sure. I've never seen it. I laugh at him every time he goes in the playoffs and just falls straight on his face, right? And it's been entertaining to watch him fail, especially when they invest this much money and time into him. But if you don't pay him, right, you have a couple options. One, you pay him, right? Two, you make him prove it on the last year of his contract, right? And then you make him win playoff games before you go out here and pay him the money that he wants, right? He shows you he can win the big game, make it to the NFC Championship game, make it to the Super Bowl, right? You make him go out there and prove it to you on his last year, and then and if he doesn't do it, don't pay him and let him walk for nothing, So, I mean, it's a difficult situation. It really is. And obviously, we know how Jerry Jones is with his players. And in the past, the Troy Aikmans, the Emmitt Smiths, the Michael Irvings, we know how loyal he was to his players. But again, it could really hurt you in the long run if you invest this much money. I mean, look at the Russell Wilson situation. They invested so much money and guaranteed money into him. And he was, his contract was the way it was structured. Now he's going to be worth about like $80 million in dead cap this upcoming season. And you put yourself in a bad position if it doesn't work out and doesn't pan out, and you just keep hitting, keep finding your ceiling, and you just keep falling flat on your face. So again, there's definitely going to be some issues to handle and some things to figure out again, because I mean, listen, I am all about the goal of every season is to win a Super Bowl. Obviously, there are steps to winning a Super Bowl, but every year it's about winning the games. And again, if you're playing for profits, if you're playing to bring people into your stadium, if you're playing to make some money, to sell some extra tickets, I understand, just having as many games as possible and building yourself a fan base. Okay, sure. But if you want to be considered one of the best players, one of the best teams, one of the best franchises, one of the best coaches, one of the best owners, you have to go out there and win and perform in the postseason, right? And when you're falling short of that and you're making this type of money and you're being paid as one of the best players in the NFL, you have to perform that way. And again, it just looks like the Cowboys are okay with being mediocre. You know what I'm saying? And you keep investing this much money into people that obviously you've seen the results have just not come through, have not panned out. I mean, it's questionable. It's questionable. It's confusing to understand from their point of view. But again, it's not my money that I am going out here and paying. So again, let me know what y'all think about the Dak Prescott contract, because I mean, $60 million a year is a lot of money. I mean, he's going to be paid more than Mahomes, more than Jalen Hurts, more than Lamar Jackson, the two-time MVP, more than Joe Burrow, the guy who made us to the Super Bowl year 2, so it's crazy to see. It truly is. The new NFL salary cap has just increased to $255.4 million, a $30.6 million increase from the previous year, right? And one of the key improvements or key things to notice, right, is the franchise tag will be increased. Obviously, we know a franchise tag is an average of the top 5 players in that position. That is your average franchise tag for your position. That will be increased due to the increase in salary cap space, right? So for example, I did read a report, Jalen Johnson, his first year tag can be up to $19.8 million, and that year 2 franchise tag, if used, will go up to $23.76 million, right? And so this is a key and crucial point, right? Because for a lot of the teams that were close on cap or are tight on cap, like, for example, the Los Angeles Chargers, there were a lot of free agents, a lot of players up for extension this current year, this offseason. So you have to pick who you want to bring back and who you want to let go and things like that. But now with this included $30.6 million, right, they are still in the negative, below the desired salary cap, but they have more wiggle room to make some moves and to add bring some extra pieces back, right? Restructure some contracts and work around these certain things, right? But obviously, they do have to hope to draft well, right? And then listen, the top 5 winners from this salary cap increase, right? Obviously, the salary cap increase helps more teams than it does others, right? And these are some of the 5 teams that I believe really got the best benefit of the doubt of this franchise tag, of this, salary cap increase, right? And number 1 goes to Cincinnati with the talks about T. Higgins being traded, not going to be signed. Other teams were talking about picking him up. You heard the Carolina Panthers were a destination spot. The Jacksonville Jaguars were a destination spot. And all these other players and quarterbacks who need another weapon, who need a true elite wide receiver 1. They need somebody. And this was the guy they were talking about. T. Higgins, a wide receiver 1 playing along another generational wide receiver 1 in Jamar Chase, right? And now you have the opportunity you already got him the salary cap, right? You already gave him the franchise tag. You already tagged him. So he will be there. He's going to be worth that money. But again, now with this type of room, right, you have $52 million in salary cap if you are the Cincinnati Bengals, and now you have a chance to retain T. Higgins for another year. Will he end up getting signed? I'm not sure, right? I still think they're buying into a win now. Let's win a Super Bowl right now at our peak of performances, right before that Joe Burrow contract kicks in. I mean, it's about to, but you know what I'm saying? Right, so then you still have Jamar Chase under his rookie deal. He has yet to be paid yet. He will be getting paid very soon, right? And now you have T. Higgins on a franchise tag. You do bring back a majority of your pieces, right? You have, again, $52 million in cap space to go out there and add additions. You have a chance to add some offensive line pieces to Joe Burrow, right, to help give him a little bit more protection, right? And then you give Joe Burrow another whole offseason to get healthy, to get right again. And you guys all know how I feel about Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is quarterback 2. He is the second best quarterback in football, and it's undeniable. I don't care what you say. You can't bring up any statistics about anybody else. He is the second best quarterback in the NFL. He is that one guy who year in and year out goes to war with Patrick Mahomes, and we have to respect game on game. This team did what the Buffalo Bills did this year in the beginning of the season, right? And right before Joe Burrow got hurt, they were on a 5-game win streak, 5-1 in the last 6 after starting 1-4, 1-5, right? One of the worst teams in the NFL to competing for their division again, right? In a matter of 6 weeks, right? It changed just like that. And unfortunately, it just so happened that Joe Burrow got hurt, right? But again, this is that team that can go out there and really make some noise against Kansas City, who they've already shown us they're capable, who've shown us they're capable of getting to the playoffs, who Joe Burrow shown how important he is and dynamic as he is as a player, his ability to use the feet to avoid sacks, and his a beautiful arm. He has a strong arm, and he's just so fun to watch. And him and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins coming back for one more year together, all 3 of them back. I mean, it's going to be great to see. Listen, the first thing Joe Burrow does after he gets injured is he says the Sith will return, right? Return of the Sith. And listen, it was one of the best things I could have possibly seen from Joe Burrow. Not only was it Star Wars related, for Christ's sakes, but again, to see this type of, they didn't see what we were going to do this year. They were doubting me this year, and then we got hot, and now I have a whole offseason to prepare, and this team is going to be very scary this year. They are going to be coming in here determined. They better use up that $52 million wisely. Go get another offensive lineman for Joe Burrow. Go bring in another defensive player, and then you have the chance to go draft well. Go draft well. You're going to have a solid pick, all right? You have a good enough pick. Go out there and go get some additions. There are some great players on the board in the late round. Whether you want to go get another tight end, you want to go get a generational tight end. Brock Bowers has been in the discussion for being another first round tight end, and then you have some cornerbacks out there who you can add to this team, right? Just to give you some more depth, some more pieces. And again, this is a Super Bowl or bust, right? They are going all in for a Super Bowl this year, and I've heard about trades already for T. Higgins. I just hope they are not going to be true. Again, I think you go for it all again. What you were supposed to do last year before T. Higgins came up to hit free agency, you do it again. You run it back and you just pray to God that Joe Burrow can stay healthy, because at the end of the day, this team will go only as far as Joe Burrow will allow it, right? Yes, they have beautiful pieces around him, but Joe Burrow is that difference maker. He is the guy who will go toe for toe with Mahomes. We've seen it year in and year out. When he is healthy, he is that team. They are that team that give them problems, and they were one unnecessary roughness flag away from being right back to the Super Bowl, right? So again, this team's going to be very scary going forward. With all this flexibility now, it's going to be very scary, right? And the number 2 team who benefits from the addition of the salary cap increase is going to be the San Francisco 49ers, right? Listen, everybody on this roster who wants to be there, who they want to keep there, is locked in. They are locked in. They are under contract. The George Kittle, the Nick Bosa, obviously the Brock Purdy, the Deebo Samuel, the Christian McCaffrey, the Trent Williams, the Fred Warner, the Chardavius Ward. You have everybody's going to be under contract. You're going to bring everybody back into this team. This team has one more year where everybody's going to be together from top to bottom on the entire page. The entire team is going to be back, and now you just got an additional, $30.6 million increase to your salary cap. So now the 49ers can find an easy way to sign Brandon Ayuk back. Listen, 75 receptions for 1,342 yards and 7 touchdowns, 17.9 yards per catch, right? Brandon Ayuk, I've been a fan of him since his rookie year. I always said of how elite of a route runner he is, and he has proven that year in and year out, right? And this year was just everything you could have possibly asked for. I mean, listen, 17.9 yards per catch is just absolutely ridiculous. And when you watch on how he does it, he just creates so much separation. He is a dynamic route runner. He could run every single route in the book. He can take you over the top. He could win a one-on-one jump ball. He's physical after the catch. He can get yards after the catch. He could beat you at the line. He's a goal line threat. And to me, he is more valuable than Deebo Samuel to this offense because of your ability. Because listen, Deebo's lack of route running ability is what's going to hurt this team if they do let Brandon Ayuk go, right? And now you have an opportunity to bring him back, whether it's on a franchise tag. Again, you can franchise tag him. You have the space. Or if you want to pay him and bring him, keep him here long term, you could definitely do that. Obviously, we do understand that not many teams can sign two wide receivers, or running back and a tight end. It's not that type. It's very hard to do that, to get all 4 different weapons all paid on the contract. Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, then you have George Kittle, and to sign Brandon Ayuk, obviously, and then Brock Purdy's going to be up for an extension soon. Right? So we understand that it's going to be very difficult to bring all these players back. But again, if you can get them on a franchise tag year, if you could bring them in and go all in for the Super Bowl again, I mean, we just seen how close you got again. You know what I'm saying? It was an unfortunate ending to all my San Francisco 49ers fans, but I mean, listen, you still have a chance to retain this entire roster and run it back from top to bottom again, just like Cincinnati has, right? And so it's going to be interesting to see what Ayuk will be worth if an extension is made, right? Because obviously his stats don't scream top 5, top 8, but again, he has been a very efficient and effective receiver for the low volume of touches he's had compared to other receivers, right? He's been sharing the ball so much with other players that his stats don't scream number 1 in the best top 5 in the league. It's not screaming Tyreek Hill, it's not screaming Jamar Chase, but he is a great route runner, and don't get it twisted, right? So with that being said, going into our third team who's going to make some good moves and going to benefit from the salary cap increase is the Chicago Bears. All right? The Chicago Bears have the greatest opportunity for a number 1 pick to come in here and flourish, right? You have the best opportunity to repeat what the Houston Texans did for CJ Stroud last year, right? Obviously, Eberflus will still come back as the head coach, right? But again, you get a change of scenario, you scenery, you ship out Justin Fields, get whatever you can for him, right? You're not passing up the opportunity to get either whoever you fall in love with, because I've heard mixed feelings on Drake May, right? Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, whoever you decide to take, you have to take a quarterback in the first 3 picks, right? Okay. I just see no other way around it. If you know what I'm saying? Even if you believe in Justin Fields to be successful, there's no way you believe he's going to be a better prospect, a better future than Caleb Williams, right? And Caleb Williams is undoubtedly the best quarterback prospect in this draft. He is one of the best quarterback prospects we have seen in a very, very long time, right? I mean, again, he had a better college career than Patrick Mahomes, right? Patrick Mahomes in Texas Tech lacked, footwork and sometimes technique and just made a lot of bad decisions. But again, that Texas Tech year he was there, he was doing a lot of stuff on his own. It was him versus the world, you know what I'm saying? But we also seen how dynamic as he was as a thrower, right? You've seen it from the get. Such a strong arm, and he was just able to make plays. But listen, the Bears have the opportunity to bring in Caleb Williams. They have the opportunity to go out there with $82 million in cap space, right? You were a 7-win team last year with Justin Fields, the guy who statistically was Zach Wilson in the last 8 games when they won. The last, 9 game stretch statistically was Zach Wilson in that second half of the season, right? And yes, you had a top rushing offense, right? With Khalil Herbert, who's not a crazy, and Dante Foreman, right? They're 2 good backs, but they're not elite backs. They don't scream elite, right? So you were effective running the ball. Now you have an opportunity to not only add a receiver alongside DJ Moore, right? Listen, Darnell Mooney just hit free agency. So now you have $82 million in cap space. You have the opportunity. If you want to go out there and go get a running back, I'm just saying it's an option. You have all this money. You can do that. You can look at these options. You have Saquon Barkley in the market, Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry, DeAndre Swift, Austin Eckler. You have those guys hitting the market. And then on the receiver market, I don't even have to say it again. You have T. Higgins. You have Mike Evans. You have Calvin Ridley. You have Michael Pittman Jr. You have Tyler Boyd. You have Odell Beckham, Gabe Davis, right? Rashid Shaheed, right? You have all these pieces hitting the market, and you have an opportunity to build around your quarterback. And now your defense played great the second half of the season, right? And now you have an opportunity to not only add through the draft, but now you can add to the offense and give your QB some O-linemen. Go out there and go build an O-lineman for Caleb Williams. Go get him some protection, right? Go, you already have Cole Kmet, who's shown himself he's an excellent tight end in this league. And there's just so much flexibility for you to go out here and overpay a guy for the next 4 years because you have so much space. You can go out here and overpay T. Higgins, right? And you can do these things to improve your roster, right? Because what does all QBs need? It's they need weapons. They need protection. You don't want a young QB to be out there to be getting hit for his life like Trevor Lawrence did his first couple years in the league, right? And then you need someone. Look at Jamar Chase, came up great. Year 2 of Joe Burrow was elite. Why? Because he had Jamar Chase and he had T. Higgins. He had weapons around him. So do you have the chance to get DJ Moore and possibly Mike Evans or a T. Higgins, Michael Pittman even? Like it's looking good. The future is looking bright for Chicago. Now you have to hit on your first round pick. You have to go out there, whichever quarterback you get, whether you're a fan of Drake May, Jaden Daniels, Caleb, whoever you think is that guy, you go out there and you go build for your team. Okay. There is plenty of free agents out here to go bring in a veteran center, bring in a veteran tackle, go add to that offensive line, go, make it as best of a situation you can for a rookie quarterback, right? Take away some of these worries that most rookie quarterbacks have in their year, which is getting hit too much, right? Having no weapons, having to do a little too much for himself and just, not truly allowing him to develop because of lack of weapons, because of lack of protection and things like that, right? So again, you have one of the most odd but a great opportunities in the world to really turn your team around in an absolute offseason, just like the Houston Texans did. So go out there, go make some moves, and take advantage of it. And the fourth team that's going to benefit from the increase in salary cap is obviously going to be the Buffalo Bills. Listen, the Buffalo Bills, we've heard the talk about Stephon Diggs? What's his status up in Buffalo? Is he happy? Is he not happy? How he's, kind of was out of the rotation in a bit, not as involved in the offense the last stretch when they were winning games and were being very successful running the ball successfully, right? But now you have the opportunity to go out there and just bring back your key players. You could go sign David Knox. You can go sign Stephon Diggs and bring him back. You can go sign Von Miller and bring him back, right? You have these opportunities to go sign these guys and bring them back and kind of run it back with your team, right? We've seen how close you are year in and year out. Or maybe you want to go a different direction. Maybe you want to go a T. Higgins direction. Maybe you want to go a Mike Evans direction. Whatever. You're going to have an opportunity to go out here and make some moves and bring back some players and bring back another weapon for Josh Allen, right? And then Shaquille Kair, I don't even know how to pronounce his name, the little slot guy from Buffalo, right? Boom. Now he took some good strides in his rookie year. Now in year 2, you're looking for him to, flourish, step up, and fill some gaps. Gabe Davis obviously hitting the free agent market. So there's going to be some decisions need to be made for the Buffalo. And then the last and final team who I think takes the most from it and is going to benefit the most from it has got to be the Kansas City Chiefs, right? Obviously, we know they are not going to be paying Jadarius Sneed, obviously, with the fact that Trent McDuffie is up and coming and is an all-pro and even better than Jadarius Sneed, right? So now you just have another younger cornerback who's going to be on rookie contract for another 2 years, and he's better than Sneed. So, and then now, the Chris Jones talked about how he's, if he's going to get paid, if he's going to come back and finish his career as a Kansas City Chief. Right now, you have the opportunity to do so. You're going to have that salary cap increase, and you'll still have a little bit of space to bring in a veteran wide receiver if you chose to go that route for Kansas City. Obviously, again, we know it's not in their MO. It's not in. You don't see them do it a lot, right? Pay top high end receivers, right? Very New England-esque in a way. But again, you'll have players on the market like I've spoke of already. Mike Evans, T. Higgins. You'll have these guys go out here. You have a chance to make some plays and play around with some things and just continue to build your team. Now you have the space to do it with the addition of being able to bring back Chris Jones first and foremost if you decide to go that route. And obviously, ultimately, this is what is going to benefit them for their attempt at going for a 3P, right? Yeah, I mean, obviously, Chris Jones would play a big key role in that Kansas City defense if he did leave, and to bring him back, whatever it costs type deal, it could benefit you in the long run. So again, now you have a little bit more flexibility to do that, and then you draft well like you've been in the past, and now you have the opportunity to just again run it back. You know what I'm saying? So, and again, let me know what y'all think about the new salary cap increase. Obviously, it's been very interesting to say the least, because obviously it's a lot of teams. My Las Vegas Raiders just opened up $45 million in salary cap, so maybe we don't go out there and get a quarterback in the first round. Maybe we maybe we end up going out there and go sign Kirk Cousins if things fall through in Minnesota. So again, I wouldn't mind that situation at all. Yeah. And then for all my college football fanatics, listen, we have an opportunity that we've been waiting for years, all right? Too many times, too many years we've been seeing teams not get in to the college football playoff of the 4 teams, or get missed out or get snubbed due to their weak schedule, their lack of schedule, their conference not being as elite as the Big 10 or the SEC or the Big 12, Pac-12, and all these conversations. But now we have an opportunity to where you have a 12-team playoff, right? Boom. 12-team playoff has been in the works for a very, very long time, or at least just a expanded playoff number, whether I heard rumors about 8, heard rumors about 12, and right now we're sitting at 12, possibly 14 in the future from the things I've been hearing and reading about, right? So we're sitting in these in this current situation where now, instead of getting Alabama, Clemson, and LSU and these teams, Georgia and these 3 teams year in and year out, for the last 8 years. I mean, finally we get something new, right? Michigan's been a team to come in here and there. Notre Dame's been, every couple years they come around with a great team and come through. But I mean, listen, this is just great for college football everywhere. College football, like Joel Klatt has been talking about, has just been growing. It's been phenomenal. The ratings have been off the charts. College football is in a great spot in across the country, right? You have college football everywhere right now. Everyone is investing into college football, into their athletics, and things like that. So college football is really taken over, and to see the 12-team expansion is just great to see, right? Because obviously one of the biggest problems with a 14 playoff is that you limit really who gets out there. I mean, look at this last year. We had undefeated Florida State go out there and not get a chance to go make it to the Final Four, which is absolutely ridiculous. Listen, and I understand people are going to say, listen, you can't leave Alabama out of it because Alabama beat Georgia the last game of the season, right? All right, cool. You can't leave Texas out of it because Texas beat Alabama before they were playing competent football, right? They still had two different quarterbacks playing the week before they played Texas and lost, right? And that same Texas team that went out there and played Wyoming and was 13-3 at one point, like halfway through the third quarter, going into the fourth. Listen, there is issues everywhere, depending on where you're from, whether you're Big 12 football, Pac-12, Big 10, SEC, whatever you like, Mountain West, whatever type of football you watch, whatever area you're in, there's college football everywhere, right? And what this does is this allows the Pac-12 teams, right? Colorado, obviously teams are leaving to the Big Ten, but you have Colorado, Utah, and these other teams who are going to be taking over in the Pac-12 have a chance to go make something, go make a name for the Pac-12, right? And then you have the Big Ten, right? Now you had USC, UCLA, and Oregon. Now you have the opportunity to not only have 3, but 4 teams in the college football playoff, possibly 5. You know what I'm saying? Depending on how things go, because we just seen how Michigan, Ohio State, year in and year out, are 11-1. 12-0, it's those two teams fighting it out, battling it out. So now you have a chance, right? And for this team like Florida State, who got robbed, as simple as it is, right? Boom. Now they get a chance to come in. Now you don't have to deal with the situation. Yes, Georgia just lost the conference championship game. Granted, the first game they lost all season. They lost the conference championship game. Right, boom. Could have been a fluke, whatever. They lost. Now you have a chance. They lose, they still come in. Sure, they're playing as a lower seed, but at the end of the day, none of these games will be played at home on their home turf. So it is okay. Home field advantage, neutral field, all that stuff. So none of that matters. And then you have just interesting college football. Now, listen, I am a big believer in the underdog. Everybody wants to see an underdog come in and upset the big dog. You want to see a number 12 Washington come out of nowhere and go beat Alabama. You want to see the number 12 Cincinnati go in here and go beat Alabama. You want to see these lower end teams. You want to see the Iowas. You want to see the Iowa States. The teams come out of nowhere and just go make some noise, and this is the opportunity for that, and a lot of these teams, a lot of these players, right? They have lower end records. They have lower end. For example, I'm a USC fan, right? We have yet to beat the college football playoff in the team of 4, the way it is set up. And it's unfortunate. I mean, listen, we lost to Utah twice last year. Sure. But just imagine this. We lose 2-3 games, whatever. Boom. This year, Caleb Williams doesn't sit out. We keep our head on high because now we know, boom, we have a chance to make the team of 12. We're not playing for NFL draft odds. We're playing for a chance at the college football playoff, right? So now instead of having to be top 4, we just need to be top 12. You know what I'm saying? And all you need is a chance to give not only your team hope, your city hope, your school hope, your students hope, your fan base hope, but you just need a chance to go out there and play. And I think this is going to be great for the thing. And now you truly will see these teams who come out here and talk like the SEC is the shit. The SEC is the best. They rock. We can have 6 teams in the college football playoff, and boom, we're going to have the final 6 teams remaining all going to be SEC. Like we've heard these types of talks about teams from Tennessee and all these lower end SEC schools, the Ole Miss, the Texas A&M, the Arkansas, right? So now there's a chance to go out there to put their money where their mouth is, go out there, compete for something that means something, right? And that's all you need is to give schools chances, to give these schools hope, and to give something promising for players to play for. You know what I'm saying? If you're a low end guy, you're going to be a late round pick. Your team is a lower end school. You're playing in the MAC. You know what I'm saying? You're having a phenomenal year, but you're playing in the MAC. You beat a couple ranked opponents, and boom, now all of a sudden you're sitting at 12-10, and now you have a chance to go for the dance. And me, I'm gonna be rooting on the underdog because I love the underdog story, right? But this just gives so many other, storytell details and things like that. Just watching some of these Cinderella teams finally have a chance to go out there and do something. For example, James Madison, a team who went undefeated or one loss, right? They would have a chance to go out there and go play, go compete for something if they were in the rankings today, right? If they were allowed to go bowling this year. But again, there's just so many different opportunities, so many different storylines, head-to-heads, matchups that would just make everything so great. The only issue I have with this college football setup is obviously, for example, if you are Notre Dame and you go undefeated, you are the number one team in the country, you go undefeated, you will not be the number one seed in the college football playoff. And why is that? Because conference championships mean something. Conference championships set you up 1-5, right? You conference championship in the big Power 5, right? The Big 12, Pac-12, SEC, Big 10. What am I missing? Am I missing something? I hope I'm not. But boom. But you get me. So now the conference championship winners get the 1-5 seeds, and then anybody other than that, boom. So obviously it is unfortunate from a team like Notre Dame, who's been in the cultural playoff a couple times before. If they are the number one team in the nation, for whatever possible reason, it won't be enough to be the number one seed due to the fact they are independent. So it is interesting, and obviously, now that I'm thinking about it, they were just in the ACC. No, were they not just in the ACC? There's no way I just whiffed that. They were in the ACC. They were playing with Notre Dame, unless they weren't officially in the. See, nope, I'm still right. Notre Dame isn't independent. I just had to look it up because that was crazy. I thought I just folded for a second. But yes, so Notre Dame is, again, in an independent school. They're an independent conference. So again, it could cause some some conflicts possibly in the future. So we'll definitely see how that leads up and the build up gets. But again, this is going to be great for college football. It's going to be great for the country, for college football, to watch these different matchups that we've always dreamt of. To watch USC go play Penn State. Obviously, they're in the same conference now, but those were games that you really had to see them be 1 and 2 to get, So now you just give a lot more different matchups, opportunities, and I think it's great for the sport. And alongside, added that, you get college football 2025 coming out finally this summer. I mean, listen, I'm just so excited for that game, actually, for anybody who is just a college football fan and just misses good sports video games. I mean, college football is it. I still play it on my Xbox 360 because I can't get enough of it. And at one point I had to go buy NCAA 14 again for like $100 somewhere on eBay because nobody else was selling it for any cheaper. But obviously we know how long and this drought has gone for college football, the game in particular, right? And so it's just good to see now that we finally get something that they've been working on, that from all the reports I'm seeing is it's just an upgraded, revamped version of college football. So I'm hoping for great things. I mean, listen, the additions of NIL deals and certain things playing into play, being a head coach and all these other recruiting and all these other things. I mean, it's great to see, and I am just so excited for this game. I am just so excited for a sports game where it's just great. It's nostalgic type content, type atmosphere, because that's one game I really enjoyed playing growing up, and I still play it to this day, is NCAA. All those college games I really do enjoy playing. I mean, for me, it just feels like Madden gets worse every year. Doesn't get any better. 2K just, has its moments, I guess. The AI in 2K, just, Hall of Fame difficulty is just insane. It's godlike. It's better than actually playing an actual person sometimes. So like sporting games have really been going downhill for me to what I like to watch. I'm not a big MLB person, so I really have nothing to say on that. But again, I mean, I'm excited. Obviously, the big question earlier, why it really got canceled, was people not getting paid for their name, image, and likeness being used on the game, right? They had to start putting their numbers on there. Reggie Bush was number 5 on USC, no name, but obviously we knew who the players represented if you were a real college football fan. So, obviously that's the problem. But now people will be getting paid and they can opt in if they want to be in the game. And I think it's great for not only the players, just to be a part of a game, of a culture, you know what I'm saying? Just the fact to be in a game. I mean, it's a great feeling, you know what I'm saying? It's it's just great, to know that you're inside a video game and people are playing as you and, things like that. And, you could throw a touchdown to yourself. You could throw a touchdown with yourself, however you want to play it. But, it's just great to see for the community, for the gaming community, for all the college football fanatics, sports heads. Because I've seen a lot of TikToks and content lately about people trying to still, do the college football content thing. And obviously, I almost had a mental breakdown right now because I thought my audio device was not connected to my microphone, so I thought I was speaking to absolutely nothing and nothing was recording. So I'm great to see that did not happen. But again, it's great for the college football community. I've seen a lot of people trying to, that enjoyed playing the game in the college football space. It's something they missed to do. Talking about all these rebuilds and, rebuilding universities and, making Army a top 5 school. I mean, it's just great to see, and it's great for everyone here that's invested into college football. Because, again, it's just at its peak right now. I mean, it's great to watch every Saturday, Friday, Saturday, the early MAC games on Thursday. I'm tuning in. I'm watching as much as humanly possible. And it's great to see for the sport. And let me know what y'all think about the updated 12-man college football playoff. And let me know what's your favorite college team. Because if you're a college fan, let me see how far your team's looking from this 12-team playoff. Because for me, USC, this falls right in our plate. We should have a chance every year, because we always end up 8-10 just because of the one loss we get at the end of the year. So let me see how y'all feel about the new rankings, the new format. All right, and then going into the new 2024-2025 NFL season, I want to do a little tier list of where people sit going into free agency, going into the offseason decisions, going into the moves that need to be made to help them succeed, and who have just had the best year and who are on path to have the best years next year. So we're basically pre-ranking, predetermining how we feel these quarterbacks are going to play out. Number one, undisputed. There's no discussion. It is who it is. One of one in the league currently right now is Patrick Mahomes. There is no 1A. There is no 1B. He is on a tier of his own. That's it. Standpoint. There is nobody in the same conversation as Patrick Mahomes at this current moment. Number two, I'm going to put Lamar Jackson here. Okay, they won one playoff game. Yes, he had a subpar performance against Kansas City. He struggled throwing the ball, a game where we all wish he would have ran the ball. But again, 2-time MVP. It was remarkable work in the regular season. They had a dominant regular season, smashed basically everybody they played, right? Boom. One playoff win, more than you could say more than a lot of these QBs, especially Dak Prescott, right? Josh Allen, number 3. Again, won a playoff game. He went out here and struggled. Not struggled, but had a struggled regular season, came through in the second half of the season when they needed to win. They made plays. He went out here, lost it to Patrick Mahomes, fell short. Couple missed throws you would have liked to see go his way. But again, number 3 is well-deserved. Number 4, CJ Stroud. And this is a little bit of projecting what's going to happen for next year. And I heard Colin Cowherd talking about this the other day, saying he thinks the Indianapolis Colts are going to take a huge jump. You have a lot of cap space for the Indianapolis Colts. They were one drop pass away from making the playoffs over CJ Stroud and the Texans, right? And you have Anthony Richardson, who comes back, who they really love in Indianapolis. He had a whole year to really watch and sit behind Gardner Minshew. But again, Houston has I think if anybody has any worry or should be worried going forward, it's got to be Jacksonville. I understand Trevor Lawrence was a little hurt this year, so there is things wrong with him, you know what I'm saying? But again, CJ Stroud is going to be a phenomenal quarterback. They have about $60 million in cap space. You're going to bring Tank Dell back. You have the opportunity to sign some free agents, maybe pick up Mike Evans, maybe a T. Higgins. They're all in that conversation to add to his team. The fact that he had this great of a year with Tank Dell and Nico Collins, that's a good, young, dynamic receiving core, but it's not elite compared to some of these other quarterbacks and what they have, right? So definitely gets another piece on offense, adds to the O-line, adds to the defense. I think you're looking at a really scary team and a competitive team with a great quarterback, right? 4, it's going to be Joe Burrow, obviously coming back healthy. I think he's a top 2 quarterback in the league. I think his work's going to do that. They franchise tag T. Higgins. We will see if T. Higgins is going to be traded. But again, they're going to be coming back, trying to get the job done, win the Super Bowl. They're trying to keep everybody together. You have some more cap space to go bring back some other defensive players and to add to your team to help well around that defense. Go pick up a couple linemen, draft well, and we can see where this goes in the future. Brock Purdy, well-deserved, went to the Super Bowl. Do I think he's as talented as all these guys? No, but he's playing good. And projecting him to continue playing good, because I think what we're getting is his ceiling. So maybe he doesn't improve next year, maybe he doesn't improve in the rest of his career, but I think the numbers we're getting and the type of play we're getting is his consistency. That's going to be how he's going to play for the rest of his career. And it's not good, it's not bad. I mean, it's good. It's good. It's not great. But again, I think he will consistently have a ceiling of where he's at currently. And you know what I'm saying? Boom. Baker Mayfield is a bit high on the list, and the only reason why he is going to be higher on my list is because I care about postseason performances. All the quarterbacks ahead of Dak right here, Jordan Love, Baker Mayfield, Jared Goff, all won playoff games, right? Dak Prescott went out there, got slammed by the Green Bay Packers. He's not getting no love from me, all right? I think Dak is a better talent than everybody in this B tier. He should be at the face, the first one in the B tier, maybe even on the A tier. But again, losing the playoffs like that year in and year out, not acceptable for me. I want winners above talent, right? I want winners, people going to win games. And all these guys did that this year. Jared Goff, again, we understand how bad they got chokeslammed in the second half against San Francisco. Could have been in the Super Bowl. Jordan Love could have been playing in the NFC Championship if they finished the game off strong. You know what I'm saying? Jordan Love, I think, is just going to grow. A very young team. He's up for a little extension this offseason, so definitely interesting to see how it's going to go. I think they're going to get better. They have cap space. They have Jair Alexander who's going to get healthy, so it's going to get better for them. Baker Mayfield. I mean, listen, winning a playoff game and, playing a second great playoff game against the Detroit Lions. I mean, you had two good postseason performances. You beat the Philadelphia Eagles, who were an 11-win team, right? And so it's great to see. And again, he's above Dak Prescott and Matthew Stafford and Justin Herbert and Kirk Cousins because of the playoff wins, all right? Projecting playoff wins. I care about playoff success. Regular season means nothing to me, right? Boom. That's the spot. Dak Prescott, obviously, like I said, didn't win a playoff game, got chokeslammed in the playoffs when it mattered most. Matthew Stafford had a good game. This Rams team was young. I mean, it drafted very well this previous year, so I'm looking for Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp to really keep it going and keep getting better together, working together. You have some cap space. You do have some good picks, so keep continuing to build through the draft. And I think this team could be a very scary team next year if Matthew Stafford is playing on point. Justin Herbert, again, I mean, this guy should be one of the best quarterbacks in football with how much talent and potential he has. He has not been able to get it done right here. Currently, we've seen what happened last time he went in the playoffs and choked a 28-point lead versus the Jags. He doesn't deserve to be anywhere higher. Kirk Cousins, again, coming off an Achilles injury. He played well. He's kind of right here just because of the fact that you could put him into two different situations this offseason, and he looks like he's going to be a successful quarterback. You look at him in Vegas. They got the weapons. They got the running back. They got the O-line. You got the defense playing better. Boom. That's a spot he can go in there and perform. You throw him into Atlanta. Again, they've got the weapons. They've got the running back, the receivers, the O-line, the defense. They just need a quarterback, right? Boom. Those are two places where I think you could drop him in. He's going to be successful, right? And if he doesn't end up going back to Minnesota. Trevor Lawrence here, all right? I mean, missing the playoffs last year and not playing well up to standards this year. I still am very high on Trevor Lawrence, but I think if you're looking at what happens and, the issues they have on this offense are not going to be, maybe they're going to be fixed overnight. You know what I'm saying? But they did. They were winning games, but they weren't it wasn't impressive. There wasn't nothing crazy. This defense definitely struggled. And I think Trevor Lawrence still needs to get some more weapons on offense. Calvin really did not work out as I thought it was going to be. I thought Calvin really was going to be a bigger piece. But Trevor Lawrence, do not panic. I'm not disrespecting him. I think he's a great talent. But if we're going on last year's, how they finished the season, yes, he was playing through injuries. But again, they have to clean up that defense as well as adding another weapon on offense because I just don't see Christian Kirk and Zay Flowers getting it done. To compete with some of these other teams, right? And then Jalen Hurts, I mean, he just had a terrible regression of a year. And it was just ugly from the very start. Yes, they won 11 games, but I mean, losing the last, 9, 8, or last 6, 5 games. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, the way they just collapsed mid-season and their defense wasn't looking good. Their secondary wasn't looking good. And then, when that front seven's not getting after the quarterback, their team doesn't look good. And then you rely on Jalen Hurts to make some plays. Did not look good. He looked terrible last year other than the tush push. And then Anthony Richardson, a guy who he looked great his first 4 games he played. And then unfortunately, he just got hurt. Again, I'm projecting with him. I think he's going to be a great talent in this league. And then Tua Tagovailoa. I'm not very highly on him. You've seen his struggles when, his receivers can't take a 5-yard drag route to the crib. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think he's a very good quarterback. I don't think he can go through reads. Geno Smith, another guy who I really like to watch, had a bit of a down year this year. So I'm looking for him to take some strides forward. Maybe, Jackson Smith and Njigba make some huge strides this offseason. You just released Pete Carroll, so definitely be something to pay attention to going forward. And then Justin Fields, out of the respect of the fact that he did win 6 out of the last, 8 games they played. I mean, I'm going to give him some respect, winning 7 games and not being able to throw the ball very well. But again, you still ran for 1,000 yards with your feet. It's I'm going to respect him here, give him a little bit above the guys. Boom. And then, Deshaun Watson, listen, it's been 2 years we've been waiting for him to play just B-level football, and it has not happened, right? And he's just continuously getting injured or not playing. And so for me, he's just going to sit here. Russell Wilson, too, another guy who was supposed to save the Denver Broncos franchise, and it has not worked out like that. And now he is sitting in situations being discussed whether he's going to go to Pittsburgh or, go to Atlanta or just any other team where he could get, people would want him to go there, right? Derek Carr. I think these 3 quarterbacks are all guys who their stats some weeks don't look bad, but then you watch the film and they just look terrible. They don't look good. They don't look, you know what I'm saying? And they really hold their teams back. These 3 quarterbacks all hold their teams back from winning and competing. All 3 of these teams have dominant weapons on offense, good running backs, great defenses, and they still can't win games. Listen, Deshaun Watson, they're winning more games with Joe Flacco than they are with you. You know what I'm saying? So I feel bad for those teams. And then obviously Daniel Jones, again, didn't play all last year. Didn't play great last year in the games he did play, right? Keeping him down here. Bryce Young, again, he had a terrible rookie season. He has really no help, if I'm being completely honest with you. I still have a huge upside for him. I think you get him some weapons, maybe sign of Mike Evans, give Mike Evans a payday, bring in some weapons, get some offensive tackle, build through the draft, all right? You've got to give this guy some help. We don't want another Justin Fields 2.0, you know what I'm saying, where he comes in here and has no help. So let's get him some help. And then Kenny Pickett, I mean, man, listen, same thing. This dude's about to lose his starting position to Mason Rudolph, and that's all I got to say. Bottom tier, bottom line, everybody who's backups or will not be starting this upcoming season. Desmond Ridder is the only one who has a chance to start, and that's only if they don't get a quarterback. And even then, I guarantee you they're going to try to get somebody in the draft if they don't sign a quarterback to bring into the Atlanta Falcons defense. With that being said, let me know what y'all think about my predictions post-offseason, post-playoff run quarterback rankings. And with that being said, I want to appreciate everyone for listening to this video today. This episode, I mean, it's been fun to do, to just come out here and talk about certain things I hear about and just wanted to discuss and share my thoughts with you and let you know what I think. And, you can bounce questions and topics off of me. And then this whole becomes a big community of where we can just come out here, talk about football, talk about basketball, talk about whatever you would like to talk about. And you have a space where we can go out here and ask some questions that, normally you can't ask, or you have no one to talk to. I'm here to talk to you. Drop some questions in the comments. Be active with me on Instagram. Whoever does watch my stuff, let me know some things you would like to hear, because again, I appreciate all the support. With that being said, these next couple videos are going to be a lot talking about the NFL offseason. Obviously, we're going to get into some more basketball coming up soon. I really want to break down, each of the positions. We just discussed quarterbacks in the NFL. Maybe we talk about the next top 5, top 10 wide receiver prospects, and then we go through, D-ends and things like that, and we'll get into those discussions. But as well, we will get more into basketball. Obviously, sometimes it's hard to balance out both, because I don't want to make my videos too long and do things like that. So with that being said, I said that about 3 times already, but hope everyone enjoyed. Like, comment, and subscribe. If you don't already, follow me on TikTok. Like the podcast, subscribe to the podcast, turn on post notifications. And with that being said, see ya.